Canelo. Jesus, Lord. Come on. You're getting paid all this money to fight against a runner who we all knew was going to run, a Cuban style. You chose him, and now you say you hate fighting runners? Well then, don't fight runners.
I don't know what the he was doing, you know. I heard that that's never happened to him until he got with Reynoso's group, you know what I'm saying? So maybe they are doing shit that they're not supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they didn't clean him out at the right time and he got caught up, you know? So, you know, I guess I'll just wait for him too. I just got to focus on July 12th. You know, after that, anything can go.
It was, it's not interesting to see the fight when one person doesn't want to win at all. But it was hard to fight for Canelo because he was always aiming, and even the skull didn't throw punches, and it's hard to catch him. You know, he's just moving, but his movement is good, to be honest.
Yeah.
The job is done. The face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez, might finally be done. The storm that has been following him for years is to blame, not a hard hit or getting older. There are claims of cheating, P-dis, and steroids. The guy was once called the pound-for-pound king, the Mexican Golden Boy, and Floyd Mayweather's clear air. But now he's in a lot of trouble.
And it's fucked up that they don't got Tank as one of the top guys, pound for pound. Now you look, they can rate Canelo up there, and I just feel like Canelo is one of the guys. He's one of the top guys up there, but he's not the only guy. Even though Spence went through what he went through, and Crawford, these guys should be rated up there. Every time they went out there, they done what they had to do. There's so many young fighters that's up and coming that we don't talk about. That kid Ennis, boo, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on him. I tell these fighters, don't. Hell of a fighter. Benavidez should be ranked in the top pound for pound. But what we don't talk about is, you know, Canelo. Steroids. They don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
Do you think he was clean the night he fought?
I'm saying, I don't know. That's y'all.
Since the clenbuterol scandal in 2018, fans have been wondering if his success was built on more than just skill. Opponents such as Terence Crawford, David Benavidez, and Jermall Charlo have also said that he is not clean. For Canelo Alvarez, the fight is over. Goodbye for good. Let's break it down. Canelo Alvarez was more than just a boxer, he was strong. The 15-year-old Guadalajara boy with red hair who turned pro reflected the hopes of a whole country. He became known as the hardest worker in the game by fighting everyone, everywhere.
All the cars, everything you want, beautiful family. What motivates you to keep going? Why do you keep going?
I love boxing. I love what I do. I still enjoy my training camps. I enjoy boxing. I love this. I enjoy a lot this. So, and I want to continue to make history because I want to put my name in a big stage, in a big position for my history. So, and I still enjoy it. I love what I do.
He was the most famous person in Mexico, the face of pay-per-view boxing, a unified champion, and finally the first undisputed super middleweight king.
People talk shit and say whatever they want to say, but look at Canelo. Canelo is still the man.
Yes.
You know?
He's been for a long, long time.
And he jumps in there and he does it and he goes to work, and it's hard to stay at that level for a very long time. And Canelo's another guy. I mean, what's this guy clipping 40 mil a fight?
Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, Sergey Kovalev, Miguel Cotto, and Gennady Golovkin were some of the fighters he fought. It's a long list, and Canelo's fame grew with each win. The tales don't always come true. Besides that, cracks began to show up in 2018.
Fucking Canelo, man. I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like Triple G.
There's a lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, well, he definitely got busted once for something, but it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, you know, we should probably leave them the fuck alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
The Canelo versus GGG repeat was one of the most anticipated fights of the decade, and everyone felt the same way. But boxing was shocked just a few weeks before the fight. 2 times, Canelo tested positive for the drug clenbuterol, which is banned.
Canelo Alvarez failed a drug test before his big Triple G fight in May, and he's blaming Mexican cows. All right, here's the deal. 2 months until the rematch with Gennady Golovkin on May 5th is going to be the big fight, and he's been taking drug tests leading up to the fight, standard operating procedure. This time he popped for a substance called clenbuterol, which is a banned substance. As a matter of fact, it helps you cut weight. A lot of people use it illegally to cut weight while maintaining muscle mass. He is saying he did not cheat. He's not a cheater. I did not intentionally take clenbuterol. Problem is, I've been training in Mexico and eating contaminated cow beef. That's what he's saying. There's a problem apparently in Mexico where some of the cattle are being injected with clenbuterol, which helps cows. It's illegal in the United States, but some places outside the United States, even some places in the United States, will use clenbuterol to grow bigger cows, to up the protein content in the meat. And he's saying that what he had was contaminated meat because his training center is in Mexico and there's a problem with Mexican meat down there. He even issued a statement saying, quote,
he gave the reason as bad beef from Mexico. It was known that clenbuterol was in Mexican cow feed, but fans didn't believe it. They saw it as a good reason for a fighter who always seemed bigger, stronger, and more powerful than the others.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. just reignited controversy about Canelo Alvarez's legacy. Not only did he call their 2013 fight easy, Floyd went deeper. He brought up the failed steroid test from 2018, Mayweather said. Canelo's transformation raised red flags and questioned whether all those knockouts were clean. This dude talking about eating bad meat? Are you eating steroid cows? To Mayweather. This isn't trash talk, it's about protecting the sport. He believes Canelo's record is clouded by performance enhancers, especially against smaller fighters. With Crawford stepping up in weight, Floyd's warning hits hard. Be smart. Don't base everything on power.
Canelo was banned for 6 months by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. His name, which had been untouchable until then, was suddenly in danger, so the duel was put off. What you need to know about fighting speeds, they will always be linked to your name. Right now, the storm has not gone away. In fact, it has gotten worse. David Benavidez said it straight out. Canelo would fight me if he had full faith in himself. But if 5 of the guys in your can't test dirty.
If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course. Of course.
Sure.
How does 5?
You saw De La Hoya
How do 5 people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
You were included. After that, everyone knows what's going on. You're all dirty. Jalil Charlo said Canelo was microdosing, which means taking small amounts of clenbuterol to avoid being caught. Charlo even said, you guys think Canelo hasn't been taking clenbuterol for years. Please move quickly.
Jamal, I'm just asking, when you think about Canelo and the PED usage, right? This is probably the 4th or 5th fighter out of that camp that's come up hot for PEDs. Just what are your thoughts around that? And
I've been telling y'all about Snack for a long time. Victor Conte them. All right, so like, all right, hear me out. No bullshit for real. They make the drug at the limit of non-responsible. All right, so like this right here, this level is you're banned. That's a banned substance. They will make the drug all the way up to the line of the banned substance, but it doesn't show, so it's not responsible. So they've been doing that shit for years, but now that they, tapped into it, it's getting caught. Y'all think Canelo hasn't been taking clenbuterol for a long ass time? Y'all think he ain't back on that shit? Or y'all think it was just in the state? Cause I go to Mexico all the time, from Houston, from Texas. I'm in Mexico all the time eating steak. I ain't never got popped for no shit like that.
When you think about
they microdosing it, look, no excuse. I'm not trying to put nobody out there. This don't got this not just boxing. This a lot of athletes all over the world. They make the drug right there to the line of like this qualification, but they don't surpass it. So they're not getting caught for it. A lot of these fighters on all kind of shit.
Terence Crawford has already stepped up his preparations for their match in September. He hasn't been cleaned. When your opponent calls you out before a fight, when they make fun of you in public, or when people keep doubting your wins, your job is in danger. It doesn't matter how many belts you have.
Not much you can do either. The other thing about it is like once your body doesn't produce it anymore and you're in your late 30s like that and you've been juicing for a long time.
There's like Clomid and stuff that tries to or HCT or HTC. What's is that that's a cell phone? Either way,
HCG or something like that.
Whatever it is, but it's supposed to boost your testosterone naturally, but never to the levels when you're injecting that Jamba Juice.
No, not only that though, you can't take that stuff. It's
not in the
illegal.
UFC.
Right. It's illegal.
I'm just saying that's true. I guess when he retires, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, when he retires or goes to Ryzen. Can you imagine? If the UFC lets him out of the contract and then all of a sudden he disappears for like 8 months and just we hear just locked in the house with horse meat.
Bad.
Just fillet of horse all day.
He's eating that Canelo meat.
And goes back to deadlifting and hanging out with power lifters.
Let's tell the truth. Peas are very important in boxing. Not only do they make you stronger, but they also help you lose weight more easily and get back to normal faster. They give you the strength to handle fights that other fighters can't. A lot of fans feel lied to because of this. Peas are risky because they do more than just help people cheat. When one boxer has that edge and the other doesn't, every punch is a bomb. The fact that Canelo's team has a history doesn't help. Jaime Munguia, another close friend, also tested positive. Because of this, Benavidez says that not only Canelo but also the rest of his staff is engaged. This is the real tragedy. Canelo has used up all of his choices as a fighter. He has fought pound-for-pound stars, brought together divisions, and led boxing for more than 10 years, but leaving a memory isn't just about wins. It has to do with how people who support you remember you. In addition, Canelo is in danger of being seen as a cheat instead of a hero right now. Think about names like Barry Bonds or Lance Armstrong. They were great players, but they were ruined forever. That shade is casting a shadow on Canelo.
Watch this.
How would you have done if you didn't cheat?
It'd be very difficult, right? Old school doping, cortisone, and other things here and there. 1, maybe 2%. EPO is a 10%. What do you think we all did?
But you didn't get 10% better. You got 100% fraudulent. This isn't about redemption. It's reputation, damage control, and disguise. You didn't make a tough choice. You made the easiest one. Lie, inject, win, repeat. And while you were stacking trophies and $1 million brand endorsements, you were burying every clean athlete who still believed in hard work. You were a role model to me as well until you became a warning label. You didn't cheat the system. You cheated the fans, you cheated the sports, and you cheated yourself. And now you're trying to justify setting a wrong example for anyone who's actually trying to get ahead in life. And this is exactly why I don't do business with anyone who buys followers and likes on social media. Because if you lie about that, what else are you lying about? What are your thoughts about that?
We all know that Canelo Alvarez is not the same winner he used to be. It's not as powerful to use fire, explosives, and an air of command these days. Just think about his most recent fight with William Skull. Fans were thrilled because they thought Canelo would put on a great show. They saw 12 dull, dead rounds in which Canelo looked less like the pound-for-pound king he used to be and more like a man relaxing. Even though Skull was a little-known Cuban fighter, he didn't have anything to scare Canelo with.
Absolutely crap, load of rubbish. The fight really was a waste of time. If you haven't watched it, don't watch it because there's better things you can be doing, like probably watching the grass grow or watching some paint dry maybe. But that fight was a total waste of time. Watching that as a former unified super middleweight world boxing champion and Hall of Famer, I was thinking to myself, what an opportunity you've got there. If I was fighting still 10 years ago, if that opportunity came up for me, I know Canelo Alvarez is going to be a tough fight for anybody. I know it's a long ask trying to beat a guy like that, but come on. If I'm in there with Canelo for whatever amount of money, there's going to come a point where I'm saying, right, I'm going for it now. Probably around 3 or 4, I'm going to stick it on him and have a go. To be given an opportunity like that, Skull, defending his IBF title and potentially becoming undisputed, to go in there and just perform like that, for me, it's not acceptable. And I think in my day, and with my mindset and the way I used to fight, I'd have gone for it. Just gone for it, and then give the fans, give the boxing fans, and do myself and my trainer proud.
Canelo didn't put on a show to send a message. He didn't try to finish. He didn't talk to people in the boxing world. Instead, it was a slow, methodical, and, to be honest, dull win that was decided by unanimous vote. What's important is that people who like boxing aren't just watching Canelo fight. They want to see him fight in dangerous, large-scale battles. Fights that change the world for a long time. When talking about big fights, he has had trouble with a certain word for a long time. David Benavidez is the monster from Mexico. Fans have yelled for this fight. It has been asked for by people in the boxing world. However, Canelo has always avoided, ignored, or gone around it. As Benavidez continues to beat opponents and prove that he is the real king at rank 168, he picks safer moves like Skull. Fans aren't the only ones who notice this. The idea is being talked about by experts, past fighters, and even promoters. Canelo is protecting his point of view instead of showing it. Because everyone knows deep down that Benavidez is a real threat, Canelo also doesn't want to risk losing the one thing that keeps his image going: his job as a boxing advocate. So, even though he keeps winning, his wins aren't really notable. The people don't want these fights, and they don't mean anything. Because of this, more and more fans are saying the same thing. This is not how we know Canelo Alvarez anymore. His fight with Terence Crawford is coming up soon. The difference in weight between Canelo and Terence Crawford is the problem that no one is talking about. It looks like this is the best fight of the year, if not the decade. 2 pound-for-pound winners, the best of all time, finally fight each other in the ring. When looked at more closely, though, the difference in size is huge, which makes many fans wonder if this fight is really fair. A super middleweight boxer with a lot of power and strength, Canelo Alvarez has been moving around at a comfortable 168 pounds.
Terence Crawford, does he have an opportunity to beat Canelo?
I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. Wouldn't be surprised if he loses either. Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Errol Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. So I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong.
Could you still make 68?
I don't want to make 68.
No, I know you don't. Terence wins 68.
Yeah, well, if that's, yeah, I can make 160.
For his part, Crawford is pushing himself to move up to weight classes to fight Canelo at 168 pounds. He had to do this because he had to go from lightweight to welterweight. That's a pretty big jump. There is a man who usually weighs between 147 and 154 pounds and a man who has been beating opponents who is naturally much heavier, bigger, and stronger. I find it hard to ignore how the fight works. Can Crawford's speed, smarts, and ability to counterpunch beat Canelo's size and strength? That's the main question. Even though there is a lot of question, fans are still excited.
What are your expectations for what the next couple of months are going to hold for both guys?
This is going to be super interesting for Canelo especially. Everyone's focusing on Terence Crawford because he's a smaller guy. How much weight is he going to put on, etc., etc. No rehydration clause in this fight. Meaning, you know, like when Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez because Canelo's the bigger guy, he put a rehydration clause in because Floyd was the money guy. If Canelo wanted the payday, he had to acquiesce and give Floyd what he wanted. Canelo's the money guy. Terence Crawford can't go in there and say, hey, I want a rehydration clause. Not that he even would, right? So everyone's looking at Crawford. How big is he going to be? But I'm looking at Canelo. What Canelo comes into this fight? The older Canelo, meaning the younger Canelo, the older guy, you know, the old, long time ago Canelo, who was a really well-rounded counterpuncher, who could do everything, or this more recent Canelo, who just hunts guys down and has become more one-dimensional.
There is a big split in the boxing world. Some people think Crawford's skills are just too good and that his timing and fight IQ will make Canelo lose, while others say Canelo's size and strength will be too much for Bud.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, Me.
Look,
It's gonna be me.
I don't care about
you
nobody else.
And you will see that.
So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? Same everybody else been saying since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next. Watch.
The reason this fight is so important is because of that. Even though there are a lot of unknowns and major drama, the whole world will be watching because, in the end, greatness against greatness always sells. Is it over now? On paper, Canelo is still the face of boxing. He's making money by fighting. In arenas and selling pay-per-views, people already think he is guilty. Though, every time he wins a fight, people will doubt him. After each loss, people will say that he was finally caught. People who are against him no longer fear him, they put a charge on him. Also, if your boxing image is ruined, you might as well quit the sport. This time Canelo Alvarez is not going to give up. He'll still get paid. But the idea, the aura, and the power to defeat may already be dead. Then what do you think? Do you still think Canelo is one of the best boxers of all time? Does the peace storm mean the end of his career already? Will Terence Crawford's fight keep the doubters quiet, or will this be the last thing that kills the plan? Please tell us what you think in the area below. Add Fightfield as a friend and like this video to see more.